basis is going to determine how you feel. So your focus is determined by a couple of things, right? Number one, your focus. Number one is your body. Okay, and I want you to remember that for the rest of your life. I want this to become a part of your work for the rest of your life, right? So what you're doing with your physical body in every moment. What I mean by that is your facial expressions, your gestures, how you hold yourself on a regular basis, right? Determines pretty much however you feel. If I was to say to you right now, there's like a curtain here, and behind this curtain is a depressed person. And I want you to explain to me how they are physically alone. That's it. So how would the shoulders be? Down. How would the face be? Down. How would the breathing be? Full or shallow? Shallow. Why do you know this? It's because you've done it before, right? Now, don't get me wrong. We've all got a distinctive pattern of physiology. That's the fancy word. I put body on there just because everyone knows what that means, but the other word is physiology, right? We all have a unique pattern on how to get there. So some people would rather have deep, real deep, as in shallow breaths over, say, their physical. That's the pattern of different human beings, right? So I need you to recognize that more frequently on a regular basis, okay? Yeah, body. Sorry, my wire's a bit rubbish. So again, it's the number one advice I could give you for, like, if you're feeling rather rubbish on a regular basis, check how your body is, okay? So if you need proof of this, all I want you to do for 1 minute is just to stand like how I'm standing and breathe deeply for a couple of minutes and just put a big smile on your face. I know you might look a bit daft or silly, but who cares? No one else is watching, right? This is about you now, okay? Getting serious. Get serious. So stand there and put a big, huge smile on your face, and I want you to not change anything about your physical body. Just keep breathing, keep smiling, right? Okay? Hold that for a minute, and all you want to do is get depressed, but don't change anything about your physical body. And see what happens. Feels kind of weird, doesn't it, right? So the reason it feels weird is because there's a distinct physiology pattern to, like, say, depression or sadness. And by standing there smiling in a powerful state, there's a certain biochemistry you fire in your body, okay? It's impossible to feel it. It just doesn't work. You can't be depressed in that sort of state, all right? So that's number one, okay? Number two is your speech. Sorry if my rhyme's a bit rubbish. I didn't do very well at school in rhymes. So your speech, as in, like, what are you saying to yourself? Certain language that you're using that you say to yourself. What do you say to yourself on a consistent basis? Okay. Again, if you're using stuff like, oh, what's the point? Oh, I'm feeling down all the time. Or, oh, what's the point? All these other negative things, that has a knock-on effect against your body, you see. So as much as this is they call it like a triad in psychology. And the number three thing we do is the picture in your mind. Okay? These three make up the triad. So any emotion you feel on a regular basis is on the basis of these three things. Okay? Like I say, I'm sorry if it's not very clear. If I bring it that way a bit. Not really done out, is it? That's a little bit better just for the glare. Okay? Whenever you're feeling anything, it's because of these three things that make up the triad. So again, what you picture in your mind is another thing. Your visualization, your internal world, okay? And your thoughts, which align with these. Again, your thoughts is another proxy of speech, let's say. What you're saying to yourself and stuff. So these three combined is going to create any emotion in the human physical body, which generates what you feel, okay? But if you start, say, with one of these over this first, it's quite difficult, to be able to go, yeah, you can change these things, but the best one to be able to change first is this. changing someone's mind is very difficult, or changing your own mind is even more difficult, let's say, right? But you change your body, everything else will follow. Okay, so that's number one, is your focus. So once you've generated this, once you've got your focus, let's say, let's get rid of this now. You know, once you've generated your focus is there, okay, next thing you got to do with that focus, by the way, focus again is nothing more. Your thinking is nothing more, shall I say, than questions. Questions are the result of thinking on a regular basis. Whenever you're thinking about something, you're questioning it, no matter what. So in order to answer what I've just asked you there, you have to ask a question to yourself. Okay, I hope that proves a little bit. Oh, thanks, Jake. Thanks for keeping me updated. You can see me clear. Okay. Thanks for joining us, Jake. How you doing? Once your focus has been determined, you then have to come up with something very important. Okay? And again, take notes, please. So those three together, like I've just mentioned before, you then have to generate a meaning. Okay, what does this mean? Is this the end or the beginning for you? Is this the start or the end? Sorry, saying it again. Whenever you put a meaning to something, that goes to the next step, which is what you are going to do. And sometimes, by proxy, at least sometimes it means by doing nothing at all, unfortunately. Do you know what I mean? So I just wanted to make this aware first before we go any further, okay? Because I don't know about you guys, okay, but it's real quick. I don't know if you're in the same position as me where you leave the school environment, okay? As much as important I think it is, you know, to learn your ABCs, your 1, 2, 3s, all the rest of it. And then when it comes to a point where calculus and learning what an isosceles triangle is comes into play, and you just kind of think, what is all this about, man? You know, like I say, it has its place, but then it gets to a point where it's like, well, this is kind of redundant now. Unless you're in certain criteria. Let's say if you're going to be a doctor or something, okay, fair enough. You need to learn this kind of stuff, right? But this is all to line up with what career path you want to go into, which, in my opinion, should be enforced more. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand when you're younger, you don't really understand where you want to be going in life. Like, who does? I mean, I'm 33 years of age now, and it's still like, oh, am I going in the right direction? Maybe, maybe not. But I like to think I know more now than I did when I was 16, let's say. Because I come from a school from England, let's say, and we left school at 16. You leave school at 16, it's kind of like, okay, what now? You know? But we don't really leave school with all the emotional help, none of the mental help, none of the financial help, none of the communication help, all the stuff that actually leads a directed mind, which is the most important thing on the planet, in my opinion. You got to remember this stuff for the rest of your life. So what I feel like I'm doing right now is I'm teaching kind of this kind of stuff that's more important, but not less. Not a lesser, if that makes sense. I'm not saying anything's worth more. I'm not saying anything worth less. All I'm saying is the information that I've learned over these many years has been more valuable to me than ever, especially in regards to emotional health. Do you know what I mean? So the next thing I wanted to talk about is why. Another question I get asked often is like, you know, why do the rich stay rich, the poor stay poor, and all this rest of it all? And